And I believe that our stream is streaming, is it? Okay, there we go. Just trying to make sure we're refreshing and it's good. We're here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Also, like, happy Halloween and some junk. Nobilis's his costume is Max Headroom, apparently.
Live and direct.
I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm the Dungeon Master for this game of Wizards of the Coast's module, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Our players tonight. First, let's welcome the return of Paul Weimer as Aule.
Salve.
Yay. Nobilis as Marcher Northwind.
Greetings.
David Archambault as Wilfred Cole.
Hi.
Jason Banks as Rowan Gregor. Oh, muted.
Muted?
No, I'm not muted. I'm not muted.
You're not now, but that's good. And last but not least, Lee Burdett as Iggy.
Hello.
All right, and so to just tear off the Band-Aid, some news that unfortunately James Silverstein was not able to commit to the rest of the campaign, and so he is withdrawing from the game. Alas, we will address the fate of his character, Doc Strider Nothing, in game shortly. But of course, we all wish James the best. He's great, and everyone's got to do what they can do, right? Yep. But with that said, let's talk a little bit about what happened last time so that we can decide what happens next.
We went for a nice brisk walk.
And nothing bad happened while you were gone.
No, just all the
Just a robbery.
and the people in charge got locked in the dungeon, and the cauldron got stolen.
Yes. This magic cauldron, which can produce nutritious stew just from water, was being guarded under lock and key by this townspeaker of East Haven, while he procured the gems with which he intended to pay you for it. But alas, it was stolen. Seemed to be an inside job. His own assistant, Prudence, seemed to have been in on it, and is now gone. So, among other things, you did decide to try to track her and the other trails the next day because you had been marching out around all day already. So, rather than make yourselves exhausted on the long trip to Bryn Shander before, you chose to go the next day. You still have your 3 kobolds in a trench coat companions who are getting a little anxious because at least they seemed to feel that there hadn't been enough progress yet on finding the white dragon. But they were pacified for the time being, still believing that that is the plan. But you discovered a couple of new interesting leads. You heard a rumor that there was a mine in Tourmaline that had been taken over by kobolds. You heard about a possible job that you could take for some dwarves here in Bryn Shander. They lost a sled full of iron that was in the process of being transported to Bryn Shander when a Yeti attacked, and so what they need is someone to recover the sled and the iron. Specifically the iron. The sled is technically incidental. But you were also discovered here in Bryn Shander that your light that's designed to indicate the presence of the nature spirits known as Chewinga lit up as you were getting ready to leave Bryn Shander, indicating that there are some within a 1 mile radius of you. But also, you were short one Dragonborn companion because he had received a message from his deity and had gone off on a vision quest. And so you don't know what's up with him yet. But before anything else happens, you were last about to leave Bryn Shander by the North Gate, and you encountered a woman who was protesting that the winds are cursed. They bring mischief. They're doing things like leaving her windows open at night and stealing her cutlery. And so you should all beware. But as you're all standing there at the North Gate, preparing to leave, you had all noticed that Doxrider had been pretty quiet in the last couple of days since the theft happened and since you'd been pursuing to Targos. And he had occasionally piped up, but generally only sort of like answered questions when they were addressed to him and that sort of thing. And finally, as you're about to leave, he had been increasingly looking like he maybe had something to say and couldn't quite bring himself to say it. And so now, just as you're preparing to leave the gate, he does pull you all aside and gestures you over to kind of a corner against a building where you can sort of huddle out of the wind, and says, listen, all of you, I've got to confess something. It's really important before you go any further. I was not involved, but I know who stole the cauldron. Because I grew up in Targos, and I was taken in there by people who took good care of me and raised me in the organization in which they work. And it is an organization that some of you might know as the Black Network or the Zentarum.
Oh, Fred, I Nobilis have heard this name before.
Yeah, I think that everyone in the party, except maybe Iggy, would have at least heard the name, and it's essentially organized crime. Is the shorthand for it. And
Magic fantasy organized crime. They're even worse.
Exactly. Yeah, so that they are pretty mercenary about accruing power and wealth for their own purposes. And there is a degree of a code of honor and loyalty within the organization, but only within. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're not in the Zarentarum, they don't care. If you are, they'll take care of you. But, you know, they don't care about anyone who's not. So he, you know, lets you kind of absorb that and just says, I had a feeling that something might be up because when we were dropping off the cauldron, I recognized Prudence. I knew she worked for the town speaker of Targos. And so the fact that she was there, I figured she was probably a mole. And I thought it was possible that she might feed the info to Nerth, who's the town speaker in Targos and definitely part of the network. And I didn't know for sure that he would try to steal it, but then when it happened, I'm very certain that's what happened. And so the reason I'm confessing this, I didn't want to say anything because I've honestly been trying to leave that behind to some extent, and I really do respect y'all, but the thing is, you're walking into something that you don't understand and don't have there's too many of them and they've got too many resources. You're not going to be able to just go in there and demand its return and expect to walk out alive. If you feel like you can... Here's the thing that I can tell you. If you track them down and you know they took it, he'll be impressed. But only if you're looking for, to impress him and not for him to give you the gems or the cauldron back. Because that's not going to happen. But you might get some kind of a reward or even, work from him if you show up and basically say, hey, we know what you did and we want to know what you have to say about it. Like, that might get you something. It won't be the cauldron or the gems. But if you go in and just demand it back, you're going to find knives at your throat. And if you try to fight them, they've got too many of them. They'll... Like, even if you were to take down Nerth, like, he's the town speaker. He could rally the whole town's militia after you if he tried. So
you're saying the whole town, the town's
well, I mean, not the
government
whole
is
town,
controlled by these people.
Yes. And I mean, it's Targos, but, you know, he's also, like, he's got his... He's doing what the Zentarum do. He's got his feelers out. He's trying to take control all over. But he's definitely got Targos. He's the town speaker. So
well,
the thing
that's
is,
very
that doesn't mean
disheartening.
that everyone in town knows that. But I'm telling you that right now. And here's the thing, like, I can't be in the middle of this. And so I'm going to have to bid you all goodbye, but I just felt like I couldn't in good conscience let you walk into that and not know. But if you do go talk to him, I'd thank you to leave my name out of it. And good luck. I hope you can do some good here in Icewind Dale. I really do. But it seems like something I can't be a part of. And then he actually, he just runs around the corner of the building.
Interesting.
That makes things interesting. This doesn't bode well for our activities in Targos.
Well, if I was more of the stealthy type, I'd say we should go and not ask for it back, just take it. But I'm not quiet.
Well,
So, just in 5 words or less, what are the
Zentarum?
yeah, what are they?
Organized crime. Organized crime. They
That's
Well,
actually
how are
5
they
words.
want
Organized crime. Well, organized crime.
Okay.
Even I have heard of them. They are
they're a nasty bunch.
and they have no limit to their ambition for control and degradation.
I think my family has had to deal with them a time or two, and well, I wasn't privy to the details, but I think they were somewhat successful in at least turning the attention away.
That is
Well, if this was,
that is very interesting.
if this was a barkeep or an innkeeper, but this is the town speaker.
Yeah. Should we... I know we were planning on pushing through and seeing if Marcher could hook us up with lodgings in Targos, but...
Doc
I mean,
Doc's Rider. But should we get a room at the inn here and kind of consider our next steps?
I think we have a lot of things we could be doing, Maybe not as profitable as this, but probably not as risky either.
Yeah, I I just think that if Docs was so uncomfortable even guiding us there and being associated with us that way, that we might separate ourselves out a little bit more from him. So we're more deniable and he'll be safer. I don't want. He's a friend. I don't want to get him into a position where he has no hope.
Yes, and again, if he's that nervous about their influence and reach, they might be a bit above our pay grade for now.
One quick note, Jason, can you turn your volume up a little bit or move the microphone a little bit?
Is that better?
Yes. Thank you.
I think they might. If his apprehension about this is anything of note, then they may be a bit above our pay grade for now. And the Tin Towns aren't known for giving assistance in such matters, especially when it comes to a town speaker.
Yeah,
The only thing that makes me feel better about this is that it's a lot harder to use something like this cauldron for evil than a lot of other things they could have stolen. I mean, you can, charge exorbitant fees to use it, but it's food, right? It's not that expensive. So I think that my conscience is not bothering me too much if we say, okay, we'll talk to them later.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of just giving up on it, but
No, not giving up.
I'm okay with the,
Marshalling resources.
yes.
And also, let's be real. I don't need to be messing with organized crime and finding myself at the bottom of one of these frozen lakes.
Yeah.
We have many things we can do, like this lantern. We may not have another opportunity to find the Chiwiga.
And we also have to find the Chiwiga. We also have heard rumors about the white elk or moose.
yeah, and the dwarfs. The
And I'm
dwarfs.
very interested in the mine with the kobolds, given our companions here.
Yeah, we would like to, I mean, maybe that's our others. And so, like, if we've got a good lead on the White Dragon, we should tell them. Or maybe they know one.
That might be an excellent way of getting them to leave the mine.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Do we want to go? Is there an inn nearby? We could.
So the north
North
on this map, the North Look is literally the inn and tavern where you guys.
I know, but Ig wouldn't know that.
Okay. No, I'm saying that literally right now you guys are standing just outside the inn and tavern that you had just left.
Yeah, you're saying this
Okay.
with a sign over your head saying Norfolk Inn and Tavern.
Well, it's not merely the sign, it is literally the last building that you were inside.
Oh, okay. I don't remember us going inside. I don't remember us going inside the inn and tavern.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Yeah, that's where Old
Yeah.
Bitey is, and
Yeah.
Okay.
and that's where you that's where you met the dwarves that asked about recovering their eye.
Yeah.
And
And-
what do you think of the possibility this woman who's talking about being plagued by winds and things stealing cutlery and stuff like that might be a Chowinga?
I think it's very likely.
Well, and we could if this is happening on a nightly basis with her, then we could wait till this evening to see if that happens again, or we could go see if we can help out the dwarves, and while we're out trying to help out the dwarves, see if there's any chewingas on the way.
Yes.
Jason, we lost your camera. I don't know if that was on purpose or.
I feel like going to the doors might be a little out of range. And yeah, it's like if we know they're around here
Yeah.
right now.
That's a bit of a march. We've already been out and hiking, and it's enough for today. I don't feel like
Well,
going out.
you were getting ready to leave to go to Targos, but that was partly just because you were able to push on for today, right?
Right.
So, just as a reminder here on the larger map of the Ten Towns region, the dwarves told you that their sled was going to be approximately halfway between Kelvin's Cairn, the mountain, and Bryn Shander.
Yeah,
They had been
that's
coming from the
that's-
Dwarven Valley, but that's where they hadn't gotten very far.
That's
with
too
the
far
sled.
away for today.
Yeah. So why don't we have a good night's sleep? Tell the dwarves we'll head out in the morning to see if we can get the iron. Look for the chewinga on the way. If we can knock that out at the same time, great. And just line it up that way, and then we can come back and have a good night's sleep, or maybe camp out there for the night and then come back.
Well, what time is it now? What time would it be now?
So I believe that it's later in the day because the intent was you had made the journey from East Haven to Bryn Shander, which is the better part of a day, but it was only going to be another 2 hours to get to Targos, where you expected to be able to get a long rest. So, so it's late in the day.
Okay. I mean, we could wait out a little bit till dark and see if anything happens at the old lady's home. And if nothing happens, we just go get rest and then head out tomorrow.
I think that's a reasonable thing.
Okay.
Gives us something to do with the time we were going to take to go to Targos.
Right.
All right.
Because I am inclined to take Jugstrider's warning to heart. I've had other characters who didn't do that and they died.
Yeah. Well, my sword has specifically told me that I am not allowed to die. So,
Yeah.
So, where are you? Are you going to like stake out this lady's house? What's the plan there
I
exactly?
think we'd like to talk to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'd be a lot more comfortable with people, peddling in the lead of her house if it might stop things from happening.
Okay. Yeah, so you head on back over to that lady's house and just knock on her door?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So there's kind of a long pause after you knock, and you kind of become aware when you look over at one of the windows that there's some like activity and noise that you gather is probably like rolling up a fur and then unlocking a shutter and then opening the shutter and then some peering out around the corner. And then over by the door, shortly thereafter, you hear, "What do you want? I told you about the cursed winds already."
We want to maybe help you with the curse. We have a theory about what it might be causing it.
I told you what was causing it. It's those cursed winds.
Now, ma'am, does this happen every night?
Well, most nights it's always that window over there. And she realizes, I think she's behind a door. You can't see where she's pointing.
Are you pointing, ma'am?
Oh, well, I already had the door and the windows open already. I don't want to let the heat out. If you go around the house to your right, the window there that faces the wall, That's the
Okay.
one. They keep leaving it open a crack when they come in and out for their mischief.
Would you mind if later this evening we came to check and see if you were okay?
While he's talking, I'm going to go over to that window and just look around,
Okay.
see if there's tracks, see if
Mhm,
there's
mhm.
any kind of clues or anything there.
Sure. Sure.
I'll do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you go around over there, and she's just kind of thinking, it's like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna let you in. You're strangers and all, but like, if you could stop them doing their mischief, I would appreciate it.
We can take a look into that, ma'am. I'm just making sure you're not going to call the town guards if we come to check on you later tonight, because it may be after dark. Because you said that's when they come, correct?
Well, that's right. Oh, well, I guess that's fine if you stay out of my, you don't try to break in or nothing.
No, ma'am. We wouldn't do that.
All right then. So while that's happening, Wilfred and Marcher go around to look at the other window. Can I get an investigation check with advantage from whichever of the two of you would like to roll that?
Investigation. Okay, well then that's going to have to be
I guess survival
Wilfred,
would be
because-
okay.
okay.
Yeah, survival will be better.
Survival's
Probably.
fine. Yeah, that is.
Okay, I've got
that's fine.
+4, David. How about you?
You go for it.
Okay, I'll roll it with advantage.
Mhm.
Okay, my first roll is a 16. The second roll is an 8, so it's a 16.
All right. Yeah. So sure enough, you find not one, not two, but three distinct sets of tiny footprints that seem to have left tracks along her windowsill and then leading away from the house. And one of the things that you also notice is that some of the footprints have a thin furrow in the snow alongside them, as though something was dragged behind them.
I
Now
would
these
like to
are
follow
tiny,
those
tiny
tracks.
footprints, like for something that's only about maybe like 6 to 8 inches tall.
So I'm going to go back to the party and just kind of gesture to them, and we have some tracks. Let's go. Maybe we can find them right now, and and I'm going to follow those tracks.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think you you follow the tracks, and they actually are just leading you along the inside of the wall here.
Okay,
And
not a place with a lot of traffic. I can see why the
Sure,
tracks
sure.
would be remaining.
yeah, and the as you get to where there's that little cluster of trees, so you're following the tracks, and the tracks start getting a little bit more like messed up. But what's your passive perception? Like, well, I guess who has the highest passive perception? Everyone's going, right?
Mine's 14.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's.
So are you approaching like stealthily, or what are you?
Yeah,
how are
I'm
you?
thinking quietly. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's get stealth checks then from everybody who's making this particular, heading this way.
Dirty 20.
Oh man.
Alright.
Oh, solid 20.
Oh,
22.
20.
All right, that's pretty good. That's a
That's
passing
with disadvantage.
group check. There you go. So, yeah, I think that as you are creeping forward, very quietly, following these little tracks, you spot that some of these trees that are kind of clustered, and you can see that the wall has been there long enough that the trees, as they got bigger, kind of grew up against the wall a little bit. And you recognize as you're moving forward there that there is, you hear a tiny sound from of movement from in there. You realize there must be a tiny little sort of a little hollow where the tree branches grow up against the wall there. Yeah. And so as you are approaching, the view is not entirely obstructed because the branches don't go all the way to the ground. But you think that if you were to be looking from close enough to the ground, you could probably see underneath the tree branches.
Okay.
It's-
I will, with one of you smaller people, go and look under the branches.
uh, I think Iggy, are you small?
I mean, what I'm talking about here is literally just someone like leaning down like on the ground to look like at that level is all I mean.
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
And do that.
Okay. We'll go with you.
Yeah. So you're just kind of crouching down to sort of look beneath,
Yep.
all right?
I think this is like a pine tree with like all
Yeah,
the branches
yeah.
have got greenery on the outside, but inside it's just a structure of branches.
Yeah, like classic Christmas tree shape. You know what I mean? So like there's the trunk with like the branches don't go quite all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
So you are like kneeling down to look through there, and what you see is this, and I'll share this this handout here. Chewingas. Yeah.
Aw.
So what you see is that there are these three little tiny spirits dressed in very little sort of dried grass outfits, and they've got a dinner plate and some pine cones and sticks and a knife and a fork. And one of them is sitting on the edge of the plate. The other two are like moving the fork and the knife as though they're like playing like we're eating food like humans do. It looks pretty clearly like that's kind of what they're doing. But so who was it that was kneeling down over there? It was Iggy and Wilfred?
Wilfred.
Yeah, so as you're kind of kneeling down there and you get a glimpse of them, they actually do the one that's kind of facing you does look over at you, kind of cocks its head in interest a little bit, and then it starts, it continues miming, like picking up a little thing and going.
Wolford would like to wave and say, "Hello, little friends," in primordial.
Okay.
And say, "Hi, can we talk to you?"
What does it sound like when you speak in primordial?
I have no idea. I don't know what primordial would sound like.
In my game, primordial sounds like the noises that natural things make. So whooshes and clicks and the sounds of wind and branches and
A good
like
imitation. It's because I'm trying to be nice and friendly. A good imitation of a nice summer day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you kind of make that noise, and the Chewinga there kind of does the.
I lean down behind him and whisper, "Try Silva."
It's clearly waving you over, and you realize that there's just about enough space in this little hollow that someone your size could crawl under the branches of the tree and sort of like sit in that little hollow.
They want me to go in. Here, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go and crawl under and take
All
it.
right.
I'm going to whisper to him, "Say," and I'll give him the Sylvan word for hello.
Okay.
Right, and as I get situated down, kind of cross-legged,
Mm-hmm.
I'll repeat that word.
Okay. They again kind of just, but they don't seem terribly concerned or worried or anything. They don't really like react like they understand. But they begin as you sit. One of them has gone over to a corner and comes back with a piece of just like tattered cloth, like just a rag of something, and then it like totters over and then puts it like on your leg. And then another one of them comes over and hands you a pine cone and then looks up at you expectantly.
I'm gonna start pretending to eat the pine cone
Okay.
because, and if there's a fork or knife, I'll mind cutting it up and then
Yeah, the Chewinga all kind of go into a little huddle and sort of nod amongst themselves, and then they like each shake each other's hand. And then they all sit down at like opposite like stations around the plate. So like you're on one side, and then there's like two on. So like the plate is a great big table for them. And then one of them pulls up an empty thimble, holding it upside down like a glass, and just starts going like waving it around like someone might wave a stein around.
do the same. It's like, hi, and do a little bit of play acting, and then mime drinking, and after a bit, saying, comment, just, can you understand me?
They don't really react to that at all.
I'll repeat that in primordial.
Like
No.
they seem curious, but don't like. I make an insight check.
Okay. $11.
11. It feels when you're doing that, it feels a little bit like if you saw a cat and talked to it. Like it doesn't, like, it's aware you're making noises and it might react to you making noises, but it doesn't really seem like it's understanding what you're saying.
Okay, I'm gonna then just say loud enough for them to hear, but not yelling. Just, I don't think they really understand language.
So they've one of them has taken a like the end of a pine needle and is moving it around like on their mouth like it's a toothbrush.
Oh.
And then they all somehow, at some signal that you're completely oblivious to, they all stand up from their positions and kind of do an exaggerated like stretch, 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 and then two of them kind of kind of move away from the plate. One of them sort of leans down and curls up like it's getting into a bed, and then as it does that, it just seems to just turn into a stone, like there's just a rock there now. And then the other one kind of goes up to one of the trees, and then all of a sudden it like walks around one side of the trunk and doesn't come back out from the other side. But the one that was there opposite you comes over and it's kind of inspecting you, and then it kind of hops up on your knee, looking at you, kind of arms on its hips, just like it's checking you out.
I'll hold out my hands for them if it wants to just kind of hop into.
It inspects your hand. It goes back down onto the ground and gets a fork, and it's like not like an aggressive, like a spear thing, but it's like just gently sort of like pokes your hand just a little bit.
Yeah, might twitch my fingers a little bit. But
It puts the fork back down on the ground and hops up on your hand, and then it scurries up your arm, and you feel it up on top of your head.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You think
Very
you feel it
gently.
like picking at that, like the fur of your hood. You feel like it like twitching a little bit, like maybe it's picking at it.
Just kind of pet it, pat it gently through the hood, and then kind of scoot out carefully.
Yep,
And
you still feel it up there as you're doing that. So yeah, as everyone else, like as you, so he's been in there like a little while now, but he hasn't asked for help. You still hear him like in there doing stuff, occasionally saying things. So seems okay. Comes out and he definitely has one of these little guys. This weird little dried grass like dress, and then a weird little strange mask on, and it is sitting like astride the top of his hood, like the little fur lined thing, and it's sort of like it's seated like with its feet sort of sticking out, and it's holding the fur like reins. In fact, it kind of looks around at you and then kind of just does the like "hiya" gesture with the reins, with the little fur.
Do I feel an urge to do something?
I mean, you don't like. There's no magical effect. Like I think you can feel the movement, but like you're not compelled or anything.
I would say ratatouille.
Yeah.
What did our friend say she would have liked us to do? Does she want us to acquire one of these?
Yeah, bring one back.
She wants to be able to study one up close.
Yeah.
Do we have something to put one of them in?
I don't think. Well, I'm not sure if being like. I mean, this was happy enough to ride along, but I don't think they would want to get being enclosed.
Yeah. I think if you ever did want such a thing, trapping is definitely like a thing in this setting, and so little cages for small animals would definitely be something you could get a hold of if you were looking for something like that. But certainly up to you to decide if that would be what you want to do.
I think I have.
I think Ig is going to look up at the Chewinga and say, "We have a friend who would really, really like to meet you. Would you be interested in coming to meet our friend?"
It clearly like turns to face you when you're speaking to it. And then once you stop, it kind of just looks away, and it's kind of just looking around. Like it doesn't seem like it has any particular response.
Okay.
I do not think that this thing has language at all.
Yeah, I had that impression.
I
And
think
if
with
we're
all of
going
you
to
looking
go
at
off-
that, I think, yeah, you can kind of generally,
So
you can assume that by now. It really just doesn't seem to react to language at all.
And so if we're going to bring it back, I think the only way would be in a cage. I don't know that, and messing with creatures like these, like that, it has dangers. They can be mischievous and vicious if mistreated. I mean,
just to clarify, just based on what you would know of them, Marcher, is that they're not dangerous. Like very low level mischief on the order of leaving your window open a little bit or stealing a fork is really about as dangerous as they ever get. Now that said, but like riling up other types of nature spirits could certainly be a thing. But Chewinga,
and having it's the kind, as far as Marcher is concerned, that's like a step on a road that he's not.
Sure. Just to be clear, though, like you would never notice a Chewinga do anything dangerous to you. At the slightest hint of danger, they tend to just disappear.
So if we are lucky, they will stay with us all the way back. But I'm kind of not interested in trapping one.
Yeah.
I mean, the reward is nice, but it is.
I mean, for me, it's no different from trapping an elk or a moose.
So as you're
But
talking, you hear sort of the crunch, crunch, crunch of just someone trudging by in the snow. You kind of glance over at the sound, and it's just someone, huddled up against the firs, making their way down the road. But when you glance back, you look, and on Wilfred's hood, where it was sitting, there is now what looks like a fresh daisy, just like sitting in the fur.
Do I like feel the weight change or?
Well, no, you don't notice anything. I think you probably wouldn't notice at all. Everyone else would see it when they turn back to look.
if we are lucky, I think it will stay with us if we are entertaining, and maybe that will work. But I don't like the idea of trapping it. That's not something I want to do with a nature spirit.
I mean, they're honestly really friendly. So
This one seems quite unusually willing to hang around with people. Usually they are much shyer than this.
yeah. So I mean, I fair. Let's at least see what I.
Yes. And make sure when your snowshoes are well tied,
Yeah.
because it will tie them in knots.
Yes.
The other one seemed to have turned into a rock. We could just put it in our pocket.
It looks like it turned into a rock, but maybe it is a rock. I mean, if you want to try and put that in your pocket, go ahead.
Yeah, it's right just down there. Maybe one of you should grab the silverware and plate, that knife, fork, and plate that's down there, and return it to the lady. She might be happy.
Are there any folk repellents for these things, like iron or salt or something like that we can tell her will keep them from bothering her?
I don't think so. Although, I mean, I think what you would know is just that, like, generally speaking, you don't really expect them to interact with you at all, but they do seem to react to, like, friendliness and kindness positively and aggression negatively.
Right.
But it's all,
I know.
it's low stakes, though, so it's kind of, there's not any,
I
like,
know.
specific
Okay,
thing of,
I'm going to go back. I'm going to
you
go
could
back to the
make
woman's
something
house.
up.
I'm going to go back to the
Okay.
woman's house
Sure.
and knock on her door again, because we haven't been that long.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like 15 minutes, maybe.
And I'm not gonna like have the rest of the party with me for this. It's just like
Okay.
it's like I will go and handle the woman and tell her what to do. I have an idea. And I'm gonna go and knock on her door. And when she answers, I'll say, "We have found what has been causing mischief in your house. It is not cursed winds. There is a little group of Chewingas who are living nearby.
What?
I'm sure you know what they are.
What are you talking about?
Little nature spirits, Chewingas.
Oh.
They're little guys.
Well, you say that's not cursed winds. I mean, the winds bring little nature spirits that cause mischief. I don't know what the difference.
Okay, so here is what you do. Okay? Here is what you do so that they do not cause mischief. Put out, when you go to bed, you put out on the floor near your hearth a cloth and some cups and a little food for them, and you leave it there for them. And that way they will come and enjoy that there rather than taking it away.
I'm supposed to give them food? I'm supposed to feed them for stealing my dishes?
They are little tiny things. They no need for more than a bite of food would be there.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not so sure about this, but I near froze myself to death when they left my window open the last time.
This is you treat them with kindness, and they will be more kind to you and considerate of you.
How about a persuasion check?
I got an 8.
An 8. She says, now, listen, mister. I don't know what your business is here. I was trying to tell you about the winds, and now you're telling me to put perfectly good food on a plate and leave it on the floor. You know what? I think I can handle on my own. Thank you very much. Please go away.
Or you could lay it out mouse traps. Either way. But goodbye.
All right.
Did our friend not give us something to put them in?
No.
No.
I mean, there was some discussion about, like, if you thought that a cage was necessary, those could probably be gotten from, like, a trapper's supply store. But
I think when Marcher gets back to the group, he says, she was not interested in my advice. Anyways, I think if we are lucky and it stays with us, we can try and bring it back tomorrow. Or
it has turned back into its spirit form now that there wasn't anyone else around.
or we could just tell her that we don't want to
Well,
trap it.
I mean, the little one's back to normal now, so we might be able to just put it in our pocket.
Or just like if we keep it entertained, because this is a creature of mischief and fun. It is not a creature of predation. So if we keep it entertained, then maybe it will stay with us. Play along with it, be nice to it.
But I mean, do we have time? We have 3 friends in a coat, and they also have fairies.
I personally, I don't think it's going to stay with us when we sleep overnight here. I think it is probably going to get bored with us when we go to sleep and find its own way somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of open, like hold open a pocket and kind of point it down there to say, do you want to get someplace nice and cozy?
It mimics your gesture, pretending like it's opening a pocket itself and points to it.
Well,
Okay.
I do have a mirror.
Mirror.
It could entertain itself by looking at itself in the glass. And we could, do you still have the little cloth that it gave you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could take that with us, and it could make a bed and pretend to sleep with us. If it seems to be playing it being
people?
being no, well, they are a people, but
Wow.
playing it being bigger. Playing it being a bigger people.
Play it being us.
Yeah. So maybe it would like to play it house. So let's see. We can try.
Yes, I mean it is worth a try. If it's still with us in the morning, then maybe we go back and try and bring her the creature.
What do the kobolds think of the?
They're watching a little bit warily. I think that they're keeping pretty quiet to themselves, whispering in Draconic. But I think it's not. They're not being so quiet that you couldn't notice. Those of you who speak Draconic might overhear snippets of like, I wonder what it would taste like, but we better not. It seems like they want that little thing for some reason. So I don't know. Maybe if it's a nature spirit, maybe it knows things like if there's a dragon.
Kobolds eat my chewinga.
They would probably taste like pine needles, which aren't very good.
Well, yeah, and I think like they're so small too. So
Yeah, not more than half a bite, and what's the good of that?
plus, it might just turn into a flower in your mouth. Who wants to eat a flower? Not me.
Yeah. Flowers can be tasty, but not that kind of flower.
You get from the top end in the middle, and then a little bit lower down on between, peeking between, you get 3 equal looks of skepticism.
It has to be a certain kind of flour. Because flour makes cookies and cakes and all kinds of sweet things too.
Ah. Anyway,
I think you start hearing a little bit of whispers now in Draconic of just like, that one's clearly crazy. They think flowers get made into cakes.
so
Yeah. So
perhaps
I
we
think it's been cold. You're not getting any warmer standing around.
yeah,
Yeah.
perhaps we should go inside and see what this little guy does. Maybe I'll get odd looks for appearing to have a flower on my head.
So I think as you start walking back towards the north look, it's hanging on to the fur on one hand, but with the other hand, it's doing the like in Neverending Story, like yeah, riding Falcor. It seems like it's enjoying this.
I love you things. Aw.
Oh my god.
But as you do approach the actual door of the inn, the rest of you do see it turn back into. This time it looks like a sort of a budding tree branch, just like a little bit of a stick with some like flower buds on it.
Interesting.
Should put it in your pocket now.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna try and just kind of gently lift it up and
I think as you hold up there, you feel like as you're reaching for it, you feel just a little tiny arm just like slap your finger away.
it's not interested.
So basically it doesn't look entirely normal, but mostly it just looks like you have a little bit of a stick that you've sort of stuck in the rim of your hood.
Yeah.
You've seen weirder ornamentation.
Yeah.
All right.
So
heading back into the Northlook Tavern, you have this is, it's a relatively raucous place. I think it's, noisy in there now that you've gotten into the nighttime period. You've certainly got people drinking and carrying on and so on. Are you gonna like find a table and enjoy drinks, or are you gonna just go ahead and get like a room and
Do I see the doors?
the dwarves? Yeah, they're still around.
I'll go let those guys know we'll take a look into their sled tomorrow.
Oh, well, that's great. We were definitely dreading the idea of having to go back out there on our own, especially after, like I said, I mean, our buddy got attacked by that Yeti. We didn't know if it might still be around, so I mean, be careful. But you guys look capable, so if you could get that iron back for us, we'd be, very grateful. And having, like we said, having the gratitude of the dwarves in Icewind Dale is not a little thing.
How much iron is it, by the way?
One moment, and I will have them tell you. What they had on the sled is... Where is it? 600 pounds of weight on a sled.
So I ask him, so was your sled destroyed, or was it just abandoned because of the attack?
Just abandoned. I mean, I don't think the Yeti had any interest in the sled. It's just looking for food.
Now, were you pulling the sled along behind you, or did you have dogs?
Let's see. I think they were just pulling it. Let's see. We were just pulling it ourselves. We It's it's something that any amount of money you put on like a dog or an axe beak, is that much out of the profit. So we just figured we could do it ourselves.
Well, I can't promise you we can bring it back, but we can probably take care of the Yeti for you if it's still there. If it's not still there, we may need you to come out and help us pull, 600 pounds of iron.
Well, no, I mean,
Only
like,
it's on a sled. Well, how hard can it be?
yeah, I mean, we were pulling it. Like, you got some strong friends, it looks like. If we could pull it, you could pull it, surely.
Yeah,
But-
what? I,
We'll give
Now, I understand that you are small and puny.
Is this
Wait
Tyroan?
just a minute. Small, okay, maybe, compared to you.
No, I don't
Puny?
mean,
You
I
wanna
don't mean
arm
you guys.
wrestle?
You guys are definitely buff and strong. I'm talking to this fellow over here.
Well,
Just because you are small and puny doesn't mean all of us are.
that's fine. I'll
I
just
pulled an entire rowboat halfway across the ice over there.
Well, I'll make sure you're the biggest axe beak we have. I'll remember that.
wow.
Yeah, so just for the sake of it, you would be able to pull the sled back. I mean, it's not necessarily like trivially easy, but I mean, you could do it. It's not a.
What is Smarter's strength?
Oh, 10.
10?
Yeah, but one of the
Goliath.
Goliath abilities is that they treat for the purposes of lifting, carrying, and dragging and pushing. They're counted as large size. So
Yeah.
it's
They can
basically-
essentially do twice as much as they would otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so between Marcher and Wilfred, at least, should be able to get the sled pulled.
might not be terribly fast, but we can do it.
I mean, if you're really that worried about it and you feel like you can afford it, you could take dogs with you or something.
No,
Nah.
our axe beak fellow over here says he can handle it.
Well,
Marcher, axe beak,
well,
north
good.
wind.
So I mean,
Okay, Chipmunk. I will remember that.
well, so like as promised, we can, there's 5 of you. We can offer, or excuse me, right now there's only 4 because we haven't had a show up yet, which I'll get to in just a moment. We give each of you a gemstone worth 50 gold pieces. Not to mention friendship with the dwarves of Icewind Dale.
This sounds like something worth doing.
In fact, actually, if you can get it back to us, the sooner the better. We might be able to getting you a discount over at Black Iron Blades too.
That would definitely be worth it.
we have a number of things we want to look into. Let me confer with my friends. And can we have the
Icewind Dale map.
the big map?
Sure thing.
They're going to see the big board.
Haha. We'll see everything.
Okay, so here's what I am thinking. From what they describe of where the sled was lost, it is not far from Tourmaline. Yes?
No, it sounds like it's about halfway between here and the
Would
Dwarven
be,
Village
like,
and Bryn.
around right there.
Yes, which is closer to Tourmaline than is to here. So how about we go to Tourmaline, we look into that mine, and perhaps handle 2 birds with 1 stone with our friends here in the cloak and the mine there, and perhaps convince them that the best way to the best thing that they need to be doing is going way over to the glacier where the dragon is, because that's where everybody says it is. And then after we have handled that and received the accoladation of thousands of people, then we go and hunt for this sled. And that way we have helped our little lizard friends, and we have helped our little dwarven friends, and we have lots of little friends.
We're gonna have the most circus-like gaggle of friends by the time.
Having friends is good.
Yeah.
So-
And if the Chewinga is still with us tomorrow,
If the Chewinga is still with us tomorrow, it probably will stay with us for a little while longer, and then after that we can go to East Haven.
Yeah, and even if it's not, we know where their little home is.
Right. And maybe if it won't stay with us, then maybe what we do is we go to East Haven. We say, oh, we found a place where Chewingas hang out a lot. Maybe you can go to them instead of them coming to you. And hey, it's a convenient place in the town,
right across from the inn.
right near the inn. So, well, not right near the inn. It was a few blocks, but nevertheless, it's close enough that she can change her base of operations. And there's the Chewingas. So,
Yeah.
you know. We have something we can tell her, but that is not a pressing need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the people who want to reopen their mind, they probably would like to have it happen sooner, and we can, and perhaps it would be a good idea to skip visiting Targos.
Yeah.
We can take a shortcut to the north from here. To the road,
Well,
and then go from there to Targos.
so taking the road to Targos would be about 2 hours, and then from Targos to Tourmaline would be about 4 hours. But certainly, when you get close to Targos, you could certainly bypass the city itself and kind of just cut over.
Yeah.
And I imagine doing that wouldn't really add any time.
No,
'Cause we're
no,
doing it-
yeah. So, but the probably cutting off too much really doesn't gain you very much, right?
Yeah,
Because it's traveling faster is on the road. So even if you go almost all the way to Targos before you kind of cut over to the northern road there, like going north sooner rather than further west doesn't save you much time because the road it's harder to travel.
Right. So
That's
we go from here to Tourmaline, look into their iron mine problem, maybe go hunting an elk in the Lonelywood, depending, see what we think, find out what news there might be there of this thing, of the white moose, and if that is. And whether or not we decide to do that, well, okay, whatever, and then go look for this land. How does that sound for a plan?
Sounds good.
Sounds like a good plan. And if we do have to spend the night, I know of a place in Lonelywood.
Just realized this is the more raucous tavern, so it gets the better music.
All right, then I think we have a plan. Let us see about doing that. Is this tavern someplace we're going to need to pay somebody off in order to get the kobolds in?
Well, it's a lot busier, and so you get the feeling that if one person were to arrange rooms, there's not really someone who's necessarily watching who goes up to what room. So
Okay.
it depends on you how much you want to share.
All right.
But you think you could sneak them up to a room without too much difficulty.
All right, then I'm going to stay with them and make sure they don't get into trouble, and send some of the others to
I'll go get the rooms because I want to drink myself.
and don't start any fights.
The last fight wasn't my fault. They just
No, it wasn't. It was Wilfred's fault, but nevertheless.
What?
We have been over this.
I walked away when they told me to.
Yeah, and I only asked a question.
All right, I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame for the last fight since I didn't help. Move on.
And I don't know if the first time you were in this tavern, Wilfred would have warned Iggy about Old Bitey.
I think Iggy is still going to go over and check the fish.
So I'll say that at about this time, the door suddenly slams open, and then standing there, kind of staggering, looking like maybe a little cold, even given their normal resistance to that, and looking exhausted, is Aule there at the door.
Oh,
But this sudden appearance, I will now use as a opportunity for flashback. So, Ale, what you experienced first of all was just that when you were back in East Haven and you had this whole, starting adventure, and you felt like you're gelling with this group, and all of a sudden you feel just this calling in the back of your mind that tells you, you are being tasked. You are needed for something, and you need to go now. And it guided you out, basically just without knowing any kind of destination, just out into the tundra. And it took you across the river between Lac de Nashir and Redwaters, and you were just out into the snow, and you were following because you're Bahamut
what the god
tells you
said,
to.
yeah.
Bahamut's telling you to go somewhere, you do that, right? But you probably, you can tell me whether or not you had any doubts or concerns. Was your faith that this is real giving you complete confidence and assurance, or was the fact that you are going off by yourself into a wilderness that you don't know what's out there, were you concerned? How are you feeling at that?
Well, Ollie's walked a couple thousand miles now ever since he left his village back in the east. And for most of that, it's been okay, go west, go west, go west. Adventure, adventure, go west, go west. Going out into the middle of this frigid wilderness alone, especially after he just met these people, it seemed like this was his path, seemed a little doubting to Ale. There was some reluctance in his steps at some points where he thought, am I really doing the right thing? Did I imagine this? Did I do something wrong in the caverns? Did that hag actually sorcerer me? Eventually, so there was points where he stopped, turned, looked around, thought, am I really this crazy? And then finally just kept on going. Finally, he let his faith outshine his wits and brains, and just kept going, trusting that he was doing the right thing.
So, as you're out there and you've been, this is you didn't sleep all night, right? You received this vision in the middle of the night, so you're already tired. You're already, weary, and you had a long day, and you're going out into who knows where, and this is very uncertain, and it's so cold that even with your resistance, it's one thing to say, I am not in immediate danger of freezing to death. It's another thing to say, are you comfortable? And the answer is, no, you are not.
Indeed.
And so the wind is whipping up around you. It's not a full-on blizzard, but it's constantly sending little stinging bits of ice against your face. With your scales, I would imagine, are less sensitive than skin might be, but nonetheless, your eyes and your nostrils are unprotected, and it's unpleasant. But as you are following this directive in the back of your mind, you are looking ahead, and you start realizing you're just seeing nothing but snow and more snow, and the wind is pulling up snow off the ground and whipping it into the air, and you're starting to realize that you're going snowblind. You really can't, this isn't just light off the snow. You're just starting to realize you can't see anything. The white of the snow has just become entirely filled your vision. You can feel yourself still stomping through, but you really cannot see anything but the white of snow on a moonlit night. And as you are realizing this, you're not really seeing it with your eyes, you understand, but you realize you're starting to receive a vision. And it feels very much like a dream, and it works on dream logic. You accept each thing as it happens without question, but you recognize that these are things that wouldn't make sense in waking life. The way things move and the way time seems to pass or not. So what you recognize is that it's almost like you're hearing a story or seeing a story. Everything feels very abstract, but you're recognizing that there is an evil underground that has now begun to rise above the surface. The cold and the frozen and the frozen land and the darkness have made the land more suitable for this evil. And now that it finds the surface more to its liking, it intends to take over. And it has plans for how to do that. And part of those plans involve turning themselves invisible, making themselves unseen, and infiltrating the towns, looking for what they need to make their weapon. And they are finding this material and bringing it back to their stronghold, and with it making a weapon that will be the end of 10 towns. And the way this weapon is represented in this vision is, it's dragon shaped, but just like in a dream, sometimes you know something without knowing how you know it.
Mhm.
It's dragon shaped, but it is not a dragon. And it promises the end of 10 towns if it is not stopped. And all of this builds to a moment where you are standing at the base of a fortress in the mountains, and you watch this dragon that is not a dragon soar over your head. And you know that you will have a choice whether to go into the fortress or to follow the dragon that is not a dragon. And the choice will be save lives in 10 towns or stop the person responsible for the weapon. You will not be able to do both.
Oh man. That's a chilling choice.
Yeah. And as this vision culminates, you find yourself lying in face down in the snow. And in fact, as you kind of push yourself up, you realize you've been buried by like 4 or 5 inches of snow. And as you kind of blink, looking around, and you realize that there is a full moon overhead, and the night is very still and crisp. And you look over above you, and you can see just the start of the aurora from the Frostmaiden's spell beginning to weave its colorful bands across the sky. And you look down and realize that even though you went south from East Haven, now you are looking up at the hill atop which sits Bryn Shander.
So then I will pick myself up, brush the snow off, glare at the aurora, and march determinedly towards Brinsander because I'm cold. I might be resistant to cold, but I'm cold and I
Yeah.
need warmth before I can figure out what I'm going to do
Yes.
now.
And so, having passed through Bryn Shander once before, you know where you can get a room. It is the North Look.
Let's go
and-
see old Bitey.
And thus we have caught back up.
Ole, you're back.
I have returned from ice and cold and chilled visions of darkness ahead to return to you. We have much we must do.
Let's
But he moves towards the fire in a way you've not seen Ali do before.
Mechanically, you do have 2 levels of exhaustion right now.
Okay, I was figuring 1, 2 makes even more sense. Okay.
Wilfred's gonna go ahead and get Ale something warm to drink, which he honestly never thought he'd have to do.
Yes. First time for everything.
Yeah. And we'll go and sit down with him.
Yeah, and so I think as you're sitting down and kind of, warming yourself up a little bit and collecting yourself a little bit, looking around at the rest of the group, you don't see Doc Strider here, but the rest of the group, and there is someone in a strange sort of like oddly shaped coat. Like they're sitting on a chair, but like you don't see their hands coming out of the ends of the sleeves, and they're not quite bent in the right place. And also, they seem to be like moving around inside the coat in an unusual way, and you definitely hear muffled whispering in Draconic that you're not quite able to make out.
I notice that him looking at
A new friend?
looking that way, I'll whisper to him. We have made some friends. That is actually 3 kobolds. They see Marcher as some sort of omen. Good omen. So they're following us for now.
Where's Doc's Rider?
Doc Strider, you remember the cauldron that we brought into East Haven?
Indeed.
It was stolen by a
Zentarum.
yeah,
The
What they
eyes
said.
go wide. Like, oh.
and Doc Strider has connections and did not want to go against them. So he has gone to seek his own safety. And I really can't begrudge him that.
They have holdings, power, dangerous influence.
They have an entire town,
Here?
at least, Targos. And I'm trying to keep this really quiet so that it's just, I'm bringing you up to speed, but I'm not trying to spread this to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to eating and drinking.
Yeah, at some point the odd figure in the coat lurches over like leaning over in its chair in kind of an awkward way, and then a reptilian arm sticks itself out from waist level, and then you hear some angry whispering of like, no, the one on top has to do it, through the sleeve, and it pulls back out, and then the sleeve sort of like flopping out at the end kind of sticks itself out and says, "Nice to meet you."
Greetings, friend. I am Ale.
I am
Oh,
Human
Ale needs
man.
to laugh right now.
This is Brabuk, Snoddick, and Trud.
Okay. So, yes.
Which
Yes.
one's on top?
I think Brabug.
Yeah, I have it that in that order.
Yeah. They lean over and you've got three cobalt snouts sticking out now. This say we were on a journey with our others, but lost in a snowstorm. We seek the white dragon who can lead us to our new home. They are speaking to you in Draconic.
Greetings, small cousins.
Oh,
No
you
doubt
called us
that-
cousins, isn't that great? Yes. Well, he clearly recognizes that we're worthy of serving the dragon. Yes, he agrees, and and he obviously, he's not white dragonborn, like he's silver, but the silver's close enough, right? Like silver's pretty close, right? Like it's closest, other than white one. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think so. And they're kind of they're saying like, how fortunate now that we have attacked the two prophets to lead us to the white dragon. Clearly, this is a
I
sign
am
that
no
they're on the right
prophet.
path.
I am a paladin, not a prophet. Although I've seen visions of the future, I am no prophet. You travel with the Seekers in order to find tidings of the White Dragon?
There's an elaborate sort of like.
The Seekers are worthy friends to have in this cold, blighted land. It is dangerous to travel alone.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this. We were with the group already. You're the new one.
Ali is an old friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
From 2 days ago, but yes.
Now they're arguing about whether that was disrespectful.
No, don't worry.
Peace, little cousins. Going back to eating more stew.
Yeah.
More fish stew. More fish stew.
Yeah. Actually, it looks like they have roast elk on the menu.
Oh, roast
here
elk.
tonight.
Even better. Ali is carnivorous.
Yeah.
Wilfred is definitely having some of that.
All right.
Ali, you've missed a few things on our side.
And you have missed what I've learned. We should exchange.
Yeah, I think we've brought him up to speed on the broad
Yeah.
things.
Unless you guys are really determined, we can just
Yeah, that's what I was
like,
kind of
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah, like yeah.
Handwave that
explain
stuff,
it.
we do the cut where like you're sitting around at the table and there's like you're each holding a stein, and then we cut to you're each surrounded by like two empty steins. You're like,
Yes.
wow, that's a lot of information. I'm glad we finished talking together.
But,
Yeah.
all right, and at least one was like,
Yes.
Yep, and Ig is asleep.
oh.
I wonder if the people who are putting together the dragon is the Zhentarim. It would seem to be the most likely.
They would be a solid choice for being part of this rising evil out of the earth.
Well,
But if
I-
we were to run against the Zhentarim now, we would not survive.
Well, the only thing I'll add is that I think those of you who know anything about this Zhentarim, like, widespread destruction is not usually their thing. They want to take over places and control it, not destroy.
Yeah. I mean, how well known is the Underdark?
I mean,
And-
I think people know what it is.
Yeah, because Druids used to live up here, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
Local hero.
So,
yeah.
Well, Ali, and I've already told you our plan. Do you agree that this is an appropriate use of our time? Turn lane, possibly White Moose, sled, back to Bryn Shander, and if this thing is still with us, then maybe East Haven again.
That I concur that is a good use of our time.
Apocalyptic
As
visions
travel
are
along
one
with
thing, but we have to find our opportunities where we can.
Get our bearings. Indeed. I'm going to
As
be
if there were not already enough destruction.
We knew that this place was accursed already, given the endless winter. Now we have a tiny bit more about that we know.
Yeah. I what? How? What? Comes to mind when talk about the material they're looking for.
Oh, it's definitely that black crystal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I've forgotten the name of it now, but
yeah. Me
Charlotte.
too.
It's the Chardolin.
Chardolin.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
it is the Chardolin they are after, and the fact that there is some in East Haven means that is going to be a target before too long. I
So
will wager.
I think that if there's a moment of kind of like silence as you're all contemplating that's interrupted by old Bitey over in the corner just lurching into its song again. It's like, there's a place I like to go, farther up the river's flow. Where it is I do not know, must be under all that snow. And I think there's a lot of people in the tavern who are just like, huh? Oh. Yeah, because it had definitely gotten to the people sort of sleepy and quiet.
Yes. I think in the morning if we can send a messenger to East Haven explaining some of the things we found.
I don't know that we can
We have
trust
no
a
proof.
messenger. Yeah,
And we have no proof as yet. Oh, I mean, you trust me because you know of my devotion to my God, but I have no proof to hand anyone that this is so and that this is coming. We
Yeah.
must find that proof and fight this evil. But there's nothing that we can do at the moment to persuade people without evidence.
Yeah, and I don't know if even if we would be able to send a warning about the crime syndicate. I'm just going to call them that. To East Haven without being able to trust that the messenger won't just take our money and not
And go to Targos.
and go to Targos and say, yeah, these guys are not people are people you want to take out.
Well, I mean, we don't have to say like we don't have to say what the message is. Like write piece of paper.
And you don't think that they're going to read it.
Well, so those of you who know Ten Towns at all, Doc Schreider did mention Narth, and Narth Maxil Danar is the town speaker of Targos, and like that's a known thing. People don't necessarily know that he is a Zentarum, like you just were told, but they do know that's who that is, just in case that changes any of what you're thinking about.
Perhaps maybe send a message and not state the obvious. Not make it obvious. Yeah. Something like
I think it'd be better if we do it in person upon possibly returning to East Haven with your new little elemental friend rather than trusting to messengers. To say nothing of the vision of invisible agents of this dark evil crossing the land. Let us rely on ourselves and our strength and our will to fight this evil.
well, maybe if those try and get that piece in East Haven, they'll run afoul of the White Lady, and she might at least give them pause.
Are you sure you just weren't seeing things out in the cold?
I walked south and east out of East Haven, and when this event was done, I was at the base of the hill of Brinchander. That is enough proof for me that something beyond the physical happened.
I'm not.
I crossed the river near East Haven, There, there is no physical explanation for me arriving where I did. So I believe what happened to me was real, and what I've seen is a vision from my God. And now my path is clear. Now I know why I've come thousands of miles. I've come here to fight this evil, and I will, with all strength I have. I hope you will, all of you.
Well, how about we knock out these things one step at a time? Because putting great evil to bed might be a bit above our pay grade.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. If I had less sense, I would say let us fight the Centaurum now, but that would be foolhardy and kill us all.
Have
There
to
is
complete a few more
sufficient
side
evil
quests
for-
and level up first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Let us continue to pretend that people do not level up in this world and become more powerful as they have adventures.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Quite literally.
And when you make friends, sometimes that can make you stronger too. But I think now is the time for bed.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, as you all make your way to your various rooms, once again, like I'm not worried about you needing to, pay the little bits of stuff for like getting a room and so on. Let me update the calendar, which I have to do because where is the calendar stuff? Hang on. Calendar. Here we go. So it is now. This next day is actually the holiday known as High Harvest Tide. How funny that we're playing that on the.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. So current day, High Harvest Tide, and the way the calendar works there is that that's technically it's like a day between months. It's not a day of one of the months. It's literally like a special day that's in between the 2 months.
Oh, neat.
Intercalary, yeah.
Yeah. Now you know that the yeah. So this like elsewhere in Toril, the Forgotten Realms, like this would be a big, sort of autumn harvest holiday sort of thing. But you had already had the impression that like that's almost like a sore spot here right
Yeah.
now. So you're not really anticipating that much in the way of celebration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if anything else, it almost just highlights the fact that we didn't really get a summer, we didn't really get a harvest, and now we're heading towards winter again.
Yeah.
But that is what day it is.
All right, well, let us get on the road. Did our little friend stay with us overnight?
He did. I imagine that if you followed through on your little plan to like give him a little mirror to play with and like a little tiny blanket and essentially give him the things necessary to sort of pretend like he's an adventurer too and he's doing all the things that you're doing, he definitely seems very engaged with that sort of play. And so he enjoys the mirror. And then, like, as you're all settling in, he gets a little blanket and he, lays himself under it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I will gladly donate my mirror to helping him pretend to be an adventurer.
While we are hiking the next day, because I don't have to worry as much about my hands being free, etc., etc. I am going to take a stick and whittle him a little miniature sword and shield.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. One thing that happens, you know what? Never mind. Let's just go ahead and get you there. Like you, so you would have had to spend most of the day. Once you've got the long rest, Ale, you clear one level of exhaustion.
Yep, so I'm down to one, yeah.
Yeah. And so, your journey towards Targos and then up to Tourmaline together is about 6 hours of travel. If you got started early, it's another day out on the road in this freezing wind, but you've got the clothes you need. You've got snowshoes and stuff now. You don't need the snowshoes so much on the road,
Yeah.
because it's kind of elevated above the rest of the ground and everything, so it keeps it a little bit clear of drifts. But you start making your way up towards Tourmaline. Well, so first of all, we can just describe what you see as you approach Targos, and then don't go there. So Targos is let's put you on that map. Yeah, so as you are approaching from the south here, you actually find that there's a road that splits before you even get to the gate of Targos. And so this is another city that's walled, but it's right on the coast of the Marriage Walden Lake here, and so it's got a whole enclosed little harbor here, but it's all frozen over now, of course. And I think you see some of that as you're when you're higher up and a little further away. But then as you're approaching the walled city, you choose not to turn left to go in towards the gate, but rather turn right to continue on towards Tourmaline. And so now, as you approach Tourmaline...
Yeah, actually, that's a good thing that they, that way it doesn't look strange that we're not going into the city.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, that wasn't our destination.
Well, that's because it was not our destination.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have to explain it to anybody.
No. Do you generally explain these sorts of things to people?
Well, if normally you'd have to walk through a city to, pass through to change your direction.
Right.
Avoiding that and walking around the outside of the city, that might garner some attention.
Did it all the time in the last campaign.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All moot anyway. So as you're approaching from the south, you are approaching this town, which has a population of about 600. It's on the shores of the lake as well. Heading
Different
on
lake,
in.
actually. A different lake.
Yes, correct. It's the Marriage Walden Lake, and I think one of the things that may occur to you as you're looking at it is just remembering that Marriage Walden is the lake that Bremen is on the shore of, and one of the rumors you had heard earlier was that there was some sort of a lake monster, but it was only attacking boats from Bremen and not others on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're coming up through here, I think the things that those who know 10 towns would know that the town speaker here currently is a half-orc named Oris Masthew. But that there was a recent election that was hard fought. So he's the town speaker, but it's new. And in fact, the election, we don't have to get too much into that, but basically, he did have competition and only barely edged out his opponent. And to some extent, what you've heard in the way of rumors is that he might actually still be having some trouble, because you recall part of what you heard about the mine was suspicion that he tried to send the town militia in to deal with the kobolds, and they wouldn't go for some reason. Yeah. So that's some of what you know. There is the town heraldry is a fish and a tourmaline gem because of the gem mines in the area. But the heraldry, you could maybe question their Whether it really indicates what they want it to, I don't know. But um, but yeah. So and then also worth noting, this is one of the smaller towns that their sacrifice to Oral on the new moon is warmth here. But you've now made your way um, to Tourmaline, and so now that you are approaching the city limits, what are you intending to do? What are you looking for?
We should go talk to the
Speaker.
town speaker,
Yes.
find out what's been going on with the mine, and then head over there.
And possibly not in the company of our new companion.
I will stay with them.
Both of us
you
should
go.
stay with them.
Yes, and the rest of you go and talk to the town speaker and don't start any fights.
Of course not.
Good thing, Axbeak.
Whatever you say, Chipmunk.
All right. So I'm sorry, I was looking up something, so I didn't hear what your first stop is. Um,
Uh,
Town hall.
yeah,
Town hall.
me,
Okay.
myself,
Yeah.
Iggy, and
Wilfred.
Wolfric are going to go to the town speaker, while our other two compatriots wrangle their trench-coated friends.
Mhm. All right.
Yep.
So let's get your little.
Yeah. Question: does the Chewinga look like a stick with a sword and a shield?
So I think when he turns back into so I didn't really cover it, but he absolutely loved the little whittled sword and shield. He is very enthralled with that and definitely waves them around quite a bit. I think when he turns, this time he turns into like a snowdrop flower again. But yeah, there's no sign left of his of the
The gear.
yeah.
Nice trick.
You're gonna get a reputation for strange headgear.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Intimidation check.
We might get into this in a little bit, but
Mhm.
Hey,
that's gonna.
you wanted something magic in your life. You got one, buddy.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
I'm just saying what I might be coming up with the mine.
Mhm.
You know.
So I think so you head to the town hall, and sorry, let me close some superfluous windows here. And the town hall in construction and shape is actually fairly similar to the one from East Haven. You get the sense that there might have at some point been some coordinated thing of like, let's get the same architect to build us a town hall in some of these different places.
Either that or pay them once and then just reuse the blueprints.
Yeah. So the other places of note, I think that people who have been here before would know, is that there is a tavern called the Blue Clam that's near the docks. The inn in town is called the East Side, and those are kind of like those are the places that are not just like people's houses.
Hmm.
There's other little shops here and there, but like those are the biggest, most notable locations. But so you head to the town hall. There's a few people inside conducting various little bits of business. You get some people just talking in general. Like are you? I think you actually see there is a couple of people who look like they're in militia uniforms, and then there's a half orc talking to them, and he's dressed well, like he's clearly in like the underlayers that you would put much warmer clothes over, but they're inside, right? So he's dressed well, and he's talking to these militia folks who are still kind of in their outfits from outside, and he's his body language is the sort of thing of like, it's taking him great effort to maintain civility and a decorum here, but he's very frustrated and trying to sort of Yelling and getting mad right now won't help anything, so I am going to be just very clear that this is what I'm hoping is going to happen here, and let's talk about what can be done to make that happen. And I am not going to just shout the way that I feel like I would if that would do any good.
So,
Yeah.
I,
So,
I I approach cautiously and look for
Mhm.
a break in his conversation.
so they definitely, what are you trying to overhear any?
Well, yeah, while I'm walking up, I'll definitely listen to what he's saying. Yeah.
Sure, go ahead and make a
Yeah.
perception check.
How does an 23?
That's pretty good. So I think what you hear is him uh, finishing up kind of his instructions. He's been giving them some orders, and what you catch is him sort of finishing that with. And I would just hope that you all can remember that you are militia here in Tourmaline and not in Targos. Is that understood? And they give kind of like, yeah, all right, sort of responses, not the sort of yes sir or anything like that. But they don't say no, and he seems like satisfied for the moment, like I guess that's as good as I'm going to get, and so he dismisses them, but looks over to you and says, "Hello, sir. May I help you?"
Yes. We're a band of adventurers, and we heard that you were having troubles with your mines while we were in
Ah,
Rinche.
yeah. Well, that is the case. One of our gem mines here in town has been, I guess, taken over by kobolds of all things. So, yeah, we could definitely use some help taking care of that.
Okay. And so this may be a touchy subject, but I couldn't help but overhearing that you made mention of Targos and their watch.
Uh, I would, you know what? It's just it's town business. I don't think you need to
Yeah.
worry about it. It's being taken care of.
Okay. All right. So, where? How long have the kobolds been in the mine?
Really, who you need to talk to here is Belinda Cole.
Okay.
She's the owner of the mine. Like on her behalf, I've been authorized to offer a reward of 50 gold to anyone who can clear out the kobolds and get the miners back to work. But she's the one that's going to be able to tell you more details about what's going on in there.
Okay. What was her name again? And can you
Belinda.
direct her to us,
Oh well,
Like us-
or us
you're,
to her?
you're going to probably find her at the Blue Clam since she got chased out of the mine and all.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll head there. And her name was.
Belinda Cole.
Thank you.
When we leave out of earshot of him, I reiterate to them what I heard, and I say, I think we should keep that in mind for digging in a little deeper, especially given the fact that we lost a certain cauldron.
Yeah. Well, it definitely implies that those people are certainly spreading. But anyway, still above our pay grades, I believe you said.
Gotta
let's let's
Yeah, let's see what we
Okay.
can do about the mine.
right.
All right.
So again, I think it is probably not a good idea to introduce some kobolds into this conversation. So my friends and I will wait outside while you talk
Yeah.
to her.
Like they're saying, but like we're gonna go see the other kobolds, right? Right?
Yes, that is the plan.
Oh boy. I mean, gosh, I hope they're the ones that we know. Like, or what if they could be new ones? Maybe they don't even know about the white dragon.
Yeah.
And
Then-
start excitedly
All
chattering
in, all,
amongst
all in
themselves.
good time, little cousins. All in good time.
While the rest of the party is going off to talk to Belinda Cole, I'm going to ask, do you know of other bands of kobolds who live in this area?
I mean, there are some, but we don't all know each other.
No, I know you don't, but what if you should encounter them? Is it generally friendly, or do you fight?
I mean, we wouldn't really have any reason to fight unless they were trying to take over our cave or something. But like, if they want to do that now, they can because we left it because it was too cold.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see whether these are your friends.
Who's going to the Blue Clam?
I think it's me
rest of
and
us,
Rowan and Wilfred.
Now,
Again.
if Marcher wants me to stay with him and the kobold, it's up to Marcher.
Yeah.
It's actually, I'm going to leave it up to you because so far they've been behaving well with just me. But if you want to stay and be double check,
Yeah, let's
fine.
be a double check. When things fail, things might fail catastrophically. It'd be better to have two of us than one.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Wrangle them. So okay. I'm not much of the face anyway. I'm a strength paladin, not a charisma paladin.
Oh, okay. Gonna say, it's like,
I hit things.
who's actually the face here? I think stats wise, it actually might be Iggy.
But I think functionally it's more Marcher.
I actually have persuasion skill.
Yeah, Ig definitely doesn't.
Oh no.
I'm actually considering that for meta stuff. But anyway, yeah, let's go in and talk to Belinda.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you head in to the Blue Clam, which is over at the docks. Let me move the little token over there. And so this is a tavern here, where clearly this is like, there's not a lot of tourists coming through this place, generally speaking. So mostly what you get in here is the fishers who've had a hard day fishing and now come to finish their days with some spiced chowder and warm their feet against the long hearths with benches near them. And there's a lot of beautiful scrimshaw decorating the walls. There is also a
nice.
very sad-looking pumpkin sitting on the bar.
Oh.
Aww.
Yeah, so there's a half-orc barkeep who greets you warmly as you come in. Just says, "Greetings, newcomers. Welcome to the Blue Clam. Can I get you some chowder?"
We're looking for Miss Cole.
Ah, yonder. And he kind of gestures over to the corner table where you see that there's a handful of humans over there that don't seem like they're mingling as much with all the fishers that are in most of the room. As you kind of start approaching over there,
One thing I know is that Wilfred didn't do his usual thing of taking off his face, all his coverings. He's basically did not unbundle.
okay.
So.
All right. So yeah, you head over there, and there's a woman there who's clearly like, most of them are dressed like mine workers who aren't mining today. She's dressed nice, but she is still sitting at the table with them with a beer and looking kind of dejected. And now that you're walking over, like, what's this?
Miss Cole, the town speaker told us we should speak with you about the situation in the mine.
Oh, really? That's wonderful. I've been so frustrated that he has been so unable to help us out before now. You can help us get rid of those kobolds?
We're gonna give it our best shot.
We'll try, yeah.
That would be wonderful. It has been very frustrating so far. So, uh, what do you need to know? How can I help?
Um,
Uh,
how long have the kobold been there?
And another question is, where is it?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you give us just the basic details, the story of what happened? Where is your mine? How long have they been there? Has this been an ongoing problem? That kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Well, so this mine uh, has been very lucrative from the perspective of its productive. We get a lot of tourmaline out of it. And so when I bought this mine, or rather took over, with the direct management of it, we were looking ahead to some really nice profits from it, and it has been productive. But our first sign that something was weird is one of our miners went missing, and just disappeared one day. Didn't show up to work. Wasn't at home. Or rather, I say he didn't show up to work. I mean, like, he didn't show up back up after lunch. Like, he had been there in the morning.
Oh, really?
And then just gone. And so something happened to him. Now, it's possible he fell into the shaft. So you haven't been in the mine, so you wouldn't have any way to know this. But we've got a shaft that just goes. Might as well consider it bottomless. It's not technically bottomless, but the bottom is far enough away that you might as well consider it that way. Literally goes all the way down to the Underdark.
Okay.
Now, we've generally not had any problem with that. I mean, it's scary to think about. But, it has always been a matter of possible concern that something might come up out of there, right? But the guys know what they're doing. We've got walkways around in there, and everyone's very careful around that. So I would be really surprised if he just fell.
Right.
But I mean, I can't rule it out because we don't know. Because that happened, he went missing, and it was like 2 days later that the kobolds showed up. And, they charge in. We didn't even see where they came from. They're just all of a sudden all around us, it felt like. And they're waving daggers around and shouting in their little, whatever language they speak. And look, we're not fighters, right? I mean, I'm not even a miner. Like, I just run. I arrange for what we do with the gems when we get them out of the ground. And my guys here are not fighters. I mean, we got mining picks, but, like, these are, like, scrappy little monsters. And what are we supposed to do with them? So we, they chased us out. And this is, we've been... it's a few days ago now, and I went to the town speaker who promised he would help, and so far nothing. But here you are, so maybe you can finally get us back to work.
That's okay. So we need to know where the mine is, and I have a very important question. Seeing as, do you have a map of the mine as you have currently mined it?
Well, first of all, the mine is to the east of town. So I've added it on the little town map here, but, like, there's not, like, a larger map that shows getting there, but she can certainly tell you how to get there. That's straightforward. We don't have a mine inside. It's not as big as you might be thinking. Like, obviously, we don't have a map of the whole Underdark down there, but assuming that you just stay on the parts that are our mine, like, I mean, you're not going to get lost. It's not that big.
Yeah, that's fine. It was more
Okay.
for strategy, but that should be fine.
Yeah.
You haven't had any other run-ins with any sort of creatures, have you, since you've opened up the mine or worked
I
the
mean,
mine?
not that we've seen, right? Like, I mean, I don't know with our other guy, like, if the kobolds got him or if it was something else.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know. We haven't had any other problems, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
There's a moment
Yeah.
where she's kind of squinting at Wilfred a little bit, just like,
Yeah. Wilfred, you said you were from this area. Do you have any insight
"What,
into
Wilfred? Wilfred, is that you? Take that hood off. What are you doing?"
Oh, Belinda.
What is this? A, why are you here? B, why do you come in and pretend it's not you? What is going on here, Wilfred? I thought you were studying wizards or something.
Father sent me up here on a mission. He he had a job for me. Something to do with the last time he was up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you say father?
This,
This is my sister.
yeah. So, if you
Oh.
apparently he didn't care to mention that when you came to talk to me, I guess. Like, God
I
forbid
did-
family
I
be
didn't know.
a priority for Wilfred.
I didn't know that you were up here.
Come on, Wilfred. You knew that I was given the mine, and if you think you're going to take that away from me, you have another thing coming. Just
I
because
don't
we're
want the mine. I don't want the mine. You would do a much better job at running the mine than I
I
would.
am doing a much better job, even with kobolds coming out. That's better than you would do.
I lean over to Iggy.
I just want the tower.
Didn't mention
And if I get what I came here for, I will get the tower and I can just leave you all in peace.
So you're an adventurer now, is that right? Is that what you're doing?
Because I have to.
Well, if you're an adventurer, and I don't know about the rest of you, but the deal still stands.
Okay.
It's 50 gold if you can get us back to work.
We'll
Okay.
do our best. But on that note, I think we should head to that mine.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, perhaps given the amount of time we spent hiking here, perhaps we should do it in the morning.
I guess so. Look, my place here isn't that big, Wilfred. I mean, where were you? You can't stay at my house. I mean,
No.
I guess like,
No, there's an inn.
okay, well, I mean, I feel like you're making me be rude by telling you can't stay, but it's not like you told me you were coming so I could prepare
I was always
anything.
planning on staying at the inn. I didn't know you were here. I didn't know exactly where Father sent you, so I
Mhm.
I just slowly back away.
Ig leans over to Rowan and whispers, "I want popcorn."
Said, I think I know
let's
my
just
sister.
I hope we get it done and get it done quickly. So
Well, listen. You kind of took me off guard here, but honestly, if you and your friends here can get those kobolds taken care of, I don't know. Maybe I put in a good word with you for you with that. I mean, I know that there's been some stuff there, but the mine is that's my responsibility.
yes, I am just a visitor.
Okay. And so, like, incidentally, like, problems happen when you're running a mine, right? Like, this is a problem
Oh, yeah.
that I am resolving like a responsible manager.
Wait.
Oh yes,
Wait.
you're seeking out skilled assistants to get it.
Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Are you trying to downplay the fact that your brother's probably going to be the one to fix your mind problem when you could do it for several days?
Well, look, my skill set lies elsewhere. I'm not like I don't prioritize swinging weapons around. That's not the only thing in the world to be good at.
But
I totally agree, madam.
being the being the procurer of this mine, wouldn't you want to at least be able to protect it? And
That
now that
will-
your
That's what
brother's going
I'm
to
hiring you to do it. That's what I do as a responsible business owner is I hire experts.
like your brother.
Yeah, well, I'll believe that when
Are
I
you
see
making
it.
trouble, Jason?
Yeah, he's
I'm gonna grab Rowan by the strap and just start dragging him out.
Yeah.
and I'll look at Belinda and say, we're under strict orders not to start fights.
I just didn't want her ganging up on our friend like that. Doing her a solid.
Well, so like to Iggy will just say, well, look, I don't want to fight anyway. Like it's just like I don't.
Don't worry, I totally understand.
Well, okay then.
He's,
So,
he's
like,
he's just poking fun at you. He doesn't mean it.
well,
We'll take care of it. We'll
like,
go
I mean,
check
he's
out the
my
mine
brother.
problem.
I
See if we
love
can
him.
resolve
It's
it for
just
you.
sometimes I want to wring his neck. You know what I mean? All right.
Absolutely.
I got
We'll
you.
we'll check in with you tomorrow morning before we leave because we just got here, and we'll see if we can't resolve your mine problem tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. And Ig will salute and follow those guys out.
All right.
That was everything I hoped.
I am so glad. So you're heading over to the east side inn.
Yeah.
I gather. So I'll put that on the map.
Yeah, it seems to be, conveniently on the way.
Yeah. All right. So the east side is it actually looks from the outside like a whole bunch of separate houses that are just sort of built right up against each other. But as you go inside, you realize that it is actually one single structure with rooms connected by underground passages. So all of the different little cottages are sort of separate on the surface level, but you can get to them in between without having to leave, the comfort of the interior. And you go inside and you meet the innkeeper, who's a human woman named Marta Peskrik, who is a willowy teenager, who is eager to serve you, and is she seems relatively bright, but rather in demeanor, I mean, but she also looks like she's very busy, like maybe overworked. And so as you come in, she is sweeping like the entry room, and she's singing a little song to herself as ahead of winter's when she came, the lovely woman with no name, draped in a fur-lined cloak of red, to the icy lake she fled. The wind pursued her all the same, as sure as night she's dead. And then she notices you and is like, welcome to the east side. Are you looking for rooms?
We are.
Yes.
Wonderful. How many rooms for tonight? Do you need a moment to think about it?
It's been a long day.
5.
Oh, well, certainly we can arrange
That's
that.
an awful lot.
Well,
But okay.
up to you.
I don't mind sharing a room with you guys.
I can share. We could probably make do with
Do you have a room that would be suitable for 5? We just need to. We need it for the night. We're
Ah,
heading
well,
out.
I mean, we don't have a room that has 5 beds, but I mean, there would be space enough for some of you to spread out on the floor if that was what you're looking for. We have rooms with 2 beds each.
That's fine.
How about 3 of those?
All right. That's good. You know, I have to say that, you know, although we could certainly use the money for the 5 rooms, I was going to have to go and clean the 5th one real quick. But so you've saved me a little time, if nothing else. So welcome to the east side, and I'll get you situated right away. And so she, you know, proceeds to, you know, give you the keys, and kind of, she has a little sketched out map of how the tunnels connect to the different rooms.
I say, have things been busy?
Well, you know, not over much. We don't get a whole lot of people coming through, but, you know, when they do, they stay here.
How long have you been running the inn?
Oh, well, you know, I mean, it's been in the family for a long time. You know, my father, you know, was the innkeep before me, and, you know, he's still kicking around, but requires a little bit more bed rest these days, so I mostly do the day to day.
Okay. Well, thank you for the rooms.
Well, of course. Welcome to the east side, and let me know if you need anything.
Absolutely.
I look at Iggy. I think she's a little bit busy. Or, or at
Yeah.
least, or has more on her plate than she would want.
Yeah, looks like she does need a little bit of help.
You know, 3 kobolds in a trench coat.
Honestly, yeah. My initial thought was that in East Haven the tavern had a white dragonborn. It's like, if we wanted to leave them there, have the white dragonborn be
Hmm?
have them work for the white dragonborn.
Yeah, but they're looking for bigger things than just a dragonborn. But
So I think also, like, the other detail that the more observant of you might notice is that she has a ring on a chain around her neck that's you know, clearly something she's like, the chain is nicer than anything else she's wearing. So the fact that she's using that to hold the ring suggests it's probably important to her.
What does the ring look like? Or
Well, I don't know. Let's see if I have a picture of it. It is, it almost looks like it's a wooden ring, but with a couple of, looks like nestled Arctic foxes, um, like curled around on the top of it.
okay, that's helpful to know.
Yeah. If anything, it looks a little bit unusual, almost like the interior of the ring is fur lined, which seems weird, but you would have to get a closer look at it.
Yeah.
Before I step away, I say, that's an interesting ring. Are you engaged?
Oh, no, it's something that was given to me. So, 50 years ago, this is local Tourmaline folklore, but you know, happened right here in this inn, is that there's a mysterious woman in a fur-lined red cloak who stopped here on her way to Lonelywood. And because she was alone and frightened, the innkeepers, who just happened to be my grandparents, were trying to, you know, console her and make sure she felt welcome and safe here, because she seemed to be like running from something and afraid. But you know, she gifted them this ring for their hospitality. But not long after that, a howling wind burst open the door, and it tossed this poor woman around like a rag doll. And my my grandparents, intervened trying to like fend off this strange wind, and it battered them unconscious, and that was the last they saw of the woman. So it's a kind of a sad story. It's what I was singing about upstairs, but we still have the ring to remember her by. It's the last sign we had of her that had ever really happened. That and my grandmother's bruises.
Have you ever put it on?
Oh well, it. I have. I mean, it's I choose to not use it while I'm in here. She looks like she's a little bit hesitant to tell more about it.
Okay.
It's like, it's just I like it here on the chain.
Safer on the chain.
Well, yeah, I just let's say I like it there.
Hmm.
Can I logic anything about it?
Um,
Maybe an Arcana check.
yeah, I think you can make an Arcana check. Although just recognizing by sight something, I don't know. I think that's probably a high DC.
Yeah, no, 11.
I mean,
it's an interesting ring.
you might have some ideas, but you can't tell just by looking at it.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanted to try to persuade her more, you could perhaps make a persuasion check.
Nah. That's
Yeah,
not.
I mean, I think you get the impression just from her hesitance that there might be something more to it, but that she doesn't feel entirely comfortable sharing it.
Well, me as a player, I think I know what it does, but Wilfred doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I go. Did you say you like using it? You don't like using it in here?
Do you want to make a persuasion check?
Sure.
Yeah, of course he is.
All right, meet the nosiest person in 10 towns.
Ugh.
Rates may go up.
Well,
What was it?
A 1.
A 1.
oh,
Yeah, I think she's like clutching it a little bit tighter and just say, so these are your rooms. If you'll be needing anything else, just let me know. She looks like she's a little bit suspicious now. Like, why are you asking so many questions about my ring?
All right, thanks for the rooms. Note to self to come back later.
All right. So you settle into your rooms. They're cozy enough for sure, and you can spend the evening there until the next day is the 1st of Marpanoth.
is that another long rest?
Yes.
Oh, good. That means my exhaustion is gone and I'm at full capacity again. Excellent. I have a feeling I'm going to need it shortly.
Well, maybe not.
Well
We'll
timed.
see.
Honestly, it's that hole to the Underdark that really worries me.
Yeah, the whole
Really
seal in the dark.
Kobolds.
Are
So
not to mess with.
once we all gather and start heading towards mine, this could play out one of two ways. Something terrible's there, and we have to deal with it. But that may not actually be the worst outcome. Because as quickly as these fellows seem to gather compatriots, what are we going to do if the kobolds decide that they want to travel with us? I don't know if
I think
kobold or how many ever kobolds can fit in that trench coat.
I think what Marcher would say is that in a large group, they would be able to travel together, and if we can point them in the direction of the glacier, then they are nobody's problem here anymore.
Maybe, but they do love their profit, Mr. Axby.
I turn to the kobolds. Like, how much would I have to pay you to stop wanting to go serve the dragon?
Stop wanting to serve
snorts
the
at
dragon. I mean, what would we do if we didn't go to find the dragon?
So there isn't an amount of money I could pay you
Well, I
that would
mean,
make you not want to go serve the dragon.
like, are you telling us to
So,
leave?
no, I'm saying, okay, how about this? Instead of going and serving the dragon, I give you
They're
a
already
silver-
looking very concerned.
I give you a silver piece a day to be my servants.
Make a persuasion check.
Great. This is backfiring.
I'm gonna have to talk.
Got a 22.
Well, okay. So, I mean, with the 22, that means you control what is being conveyed here. Like, I'm not going to force you with a high roll
Okay.
on a persuasion check to convince them of something other than
My-
what you intended.
What I'm intending to get across is that their faith, their quest, their noble goal, is not worth any amount of money.
Okay.
That what they want is to serve this dragon, and that is the greatest possible ambition, and that it would be cheapen themselves to accept money instead.
You.
But
you can,
I'm trying to do it in a kind of a way that may be a little too intellectual for them.
because they feel like you are trying to talk them out of going to find the white dragon, and that's
Okay.
why they're like, what? Why are we even talking about this? Why would we not do that?
Right. So what you are saying is that your greatest goal in life is not to make money, but to serve the dragon.
Well, yeah, of course.
See, that's what I was saying. And if the kobolds in the mine feel similarly, and if we and our friends here can convince them similarly, then they may leave of their own volition to go and serve the dragon. That is my plan. That is I think, a entirely reasonable thing. They may even be the friends of these guys, in which case they will be looking for news about where the dragon is. I think this is an entirely reasonable plan. Why are you laughing at me, Chipmunk?
No, I feel like when beings are guided by a higher purpose, you always need someone to translate that higher purpose, like a prophet.
Wait, do you mean prophet with a PH or prophet with an F?
PH.
The type of prophet they think you are.
I am certain that I can convince them that to follow my instructions when I'm not there.
Okay.
Are you telling them to not come to the mine with you? Is that what you're
No. I
Okay.
absolutely need them to come to the mine.
Yeah,
Well, I was going to say, like,
Yeah.
you're getting the impression that all of this has left them very confused because they thought that this was the plan all along, and it seemed
No,
almost
yeah.
for a while like you were trying to tell them they shouldn't do that, and you were going to
No,
pay
no,
them to
okay.
not do it. And then,
Guys.
yeah.
Here is what we are going to do. You who have seen the light,
Yes.
that I know that the dragon is on the glacier, but the reason you can't go there directly is because there's only 3 of you. 3 little guys on their way across such a long distance. You would not survive. You would be snacks for Harpy or something. Here I am doing a Russian accent instead of Norwegian. But when there is more of you, you can survive because you are a people who work together. Am I correct? Yes.
Yeah, probably.
So what I am hoping is that these are either your people who are confused perhaps as to where to find a dragon, or maybe they are not, and maybe they are people who are similar to you, looking for a home, and can be
looking for a
convinced
purpose.
to look for the dragon. So And I am not saying that necessarily that is what will happen, but that I think is a reasonable thing to try to make happen.
Are we going to go talk to the other kobolds now?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
and
good.
you are key to that. The three
Yes,
of you are key to talking
you are
to
an
the kobold.
essential part of this plan.
Oh.
You are very important to the success of this plan so that everybody ends up happy.
Well, that's good, because we are good at talking to kobolds. We do it all the time.
No,
Great.
They are
Great,
essential.
little cousins. We need you.
no. Learn Draconic to make Marcher a prophet.
You will still sound like a chipmunk.
So, it's 10:11, and we are about to head to a map, right? You know,
Yep.
this is one of your quest maps, right? I don't know how you guys are doing, like how much longer you would like to go. I'm good to keep going for a little while, but I just wanted to raise the question. If nothing else, maybe everyone gets a bio break before we continue.
Actually, I would rather not.
Meaning, go ahead and stop here.
Stop. I think yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Sure. So I think we'll leave things here for this week, but next week we'll head to the gem mine and try to figure out what's the deal with all these kobolds in this gem mine.
A coal gem mine.
Just watched Gremlins 2, the new batch. So now all I have in my mind is the gremlin who was like talking about they need civility and like who was singing Sinatra at the end.
It is so funny that you say that for reasons that I can't explain yet.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh boy. Oh my.
So yeah.
I have this feeling that we're coming across all the comic relief in the entire campaign all at once.
Well, yes and no.
We get the horror later.
I mean,
No, there's
the three kobolds in a jacket, the chewinga. There's something in the gem mine that's going to be funny.
Yeah. So here's just a last little funny detail that I'll leave you with, just in terms of how this adventure is theoretically structured. The two starting quests that it suggests are the Chewinga nature spirits or killing Sefik. One of these is easier than the other one.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, in any event, thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching and or listening. Thank you to my players. I'm looking forward to running you into, we'll probably have some combat next time. And we'll find out what's going on with the gem mine and if Wilfred can impress his sister and if you can find a new home or traveling companions for your kobold buddies. We will see next time on So Many Levels.
So many levels.
Yay!
Also, just a reminder: this Tuesday we're going to have a one-shot from our other Tuesday night game, and soon we're still working on building up our new campaign for the Tuesday night game. So check that out too, and we'll be back.